Archie, normally I'd start this as hi, and I'm talking with, but this, damn. I'll let you tell it. I'm here with April, who is, I don't want to say currently, but I guess you always were, but currently doing work as a psychic.
Right.
But what is it you were just telling me now? Let's say that. You have to give me that story again.
So I was raised as a Jehovah's Witness, and then I joined passion parties and I sell dildos out of the bag. And then now I'm working as a psychic medium.
Thank you for joining us. That's it. No, I was kidding. I mean, that's a story like and a half within itself. But so, the first thing that comes to mind, and I know everyone's probably thinking, ask about the dildos. No, the first thing that comes to mind, honestly, is the transition from Jehovah's Witness to psychic. Was that rough within yourself as opposed to rough with, I guess, your family and everyone else around you?
It was more rough with my family. My mother and my father's sister have basically disowned me because they are still Jehovah's Witnesses, and this is of course very much against that religion. I started seeing dead people when I was very young. The story is that when I was about 5, they showed me a picture of my great-grandma and grandpa. Grandma died 6 months before my mom got pregnant with me, and grandpa died when she was 6 months pregnant with me. And I saw the picture and immediately knew who they were, and they're like, how do you know that? And I'm like, well, they come see me all the time, and grandpa's sitting in that rocking chair right now. And everybody freaked out, and that was about 3 years before we became Jehovah's Witnesses. I think my mom was studying then. And so they very much told me, no, this is bad, these are demons, you can't do this, and I blocked it for a very long time. And it's kind of funny, my sister and I have gone through a lot of different things, and one of the businesses that we used to do was doing washable book covers. And we were pegged by a group to come to a readers convention for erotic novels. So I have a bunch of friends now that write erotic novels.
Then we're going to talk.
And so we did that, and at the first convention we went to for that, I had my first tarot reading done. And literally before the woman even pulled a card, she was like, oh my God, there's so much, but why aren't you doing this? And it was basically after that, I very much opened up. And that was about 10 years ago. So for the last, well, no, that was actually longer than that. For about the last 20 years, I've kind of been opening up and trying to learn more about that side of me.
And what have in your development going from this to where you are now? I mean, was it big strides or little by little, or were there like exercises and things you realized you had to do in order to be able to do this and that?
You know, it really depends. Some of them were little walks. You know, I had to learn to, when I heard that little voice in my mind say, don't do this, I had to learn to actually listen to it. Because if you're always ignoring it, it stops telling you things, and that's what had happened to me. And so when you start listening to it again, you start developing that psychic instinct, because we're all born with it, and that intuition, so that you can go forward. And then I started doing Reiki and was attuned for Reiki 1 and attuned for Reiki 2. And once I attuned for master level Reiki, it was like my head exploded. And I could see things clearer. I could hear voices clearer. I actually started doing medium work after that. I mean, I was born a psychic medium, but I didn't actually bill myself as that. I didn't actually consider myself that until after that, because it was like that's when I started being able to control it more.
In your head somewhere you must have gone, this is way more fun than the passion parties.
Actually, I did the passion parties up until it's actually a year ago last year. The company was bought out by Pure Romance, and I really didn't care for their products as well. So I just decided, you know what? I really want to go forward with the spiritual stuff and do more with that. And so I left Passion Parties or Pure Romance. And then within 5-6 months, my sister and I realized, you know what? We need to do this together. She's a massage therapist and does Reiki. And we started doing actually.
You got the coin thingy on today, the little coin skirt. Yeah, we're interviewing her and everything.
That's my soul sister. There's 4 of us. Our business is called Riley Sisters Spiritual Rescue. And it's because we do everything from psychic readings to home cleansings and banishings. So about this time last year, we heard about someone that needed help getting an entity out of their house. And they couldn't find anyone to help them. And we've dealt with them before with different entities and had to get rid of them. So we went in and did. And then they started passing our name around. So we got more calls and it blew up. And so now there's 4 of us. My sister Floy, my soul sisters Michelle and Alicia.
Yeah, and I can see the spreading by word of mouth. It's not exactly something you get a good Yelp review on when it comes to like those things.
Not really.
She straight up saw right into my soul. 5 stars. I mean, although Yelp, if you're watching, you can add that. I mean, it's your app. You guys can just add that in.
It's good. I use Yelp for everything.
Give us money, Yelp. In your passings and travels, have you ever come across a situation where you weren't sure what you were dealing with, as far as whether it's an entity in a house or even something within a person or following a person?
Absolutely. I want to add another word in that, but I'm not going to since, we are actually dealing with one now that we've been in the house. We've been to the house multiple times, and we finally figured out what it is, but we can't get it out because someone in the house owns what it's taken possession of, and that actually has to leave. So, yeah, a lot of times when we go in, we don't know what it is, and my sister says it's almost like I go into a trance and I meditate, and she said I almost go into a trance and just get rid of it. It's I don't find it to be anything like what you see on TV at all.
It's funny. That was actually going to be my next question. I was actually going to ask someone who's doing this and not doing it as a show, as entertainment and performance. How, out of all the shows you see, with all these different shows that are on TV, and you see people, some of them using psychics, some of them not using psychics, any of them offhand, I don't want you to badmouth the ones that you don't think, but any particular one that you can say probably seems to be the most authentic or most real out of all of them?
I honestly, there's actually 2. Chip Coffee, who has been on Paranormal State and Paranormal Kids, and Kim Russo, who was also on some episodes of Paranormal State and did the book The Happy Medium. Yep, and those 2 are actually, I can watch the shows that they're on, and I can actually see the spirits as they're seeing them, and I can hear the voices.
So you can see the spirits and stuff that's been recorded. Yeah. So if there was like a spirit sitting here with us, other people wouldn't see it on TV, but you can actually see it from via camera.
Yeah.
That's a new one. Actually, I wasn't sure. I guess you could see it as when. Just regular eye vision. Humans can only see a certain spectrum. I guess psychic, you've got that extra spectrum, and I guess it comes through in camera and everything then for you.
I consider myself to be a clairsentient, which means I'm knowing. So it's not. I say see it because it's the easiest way to describe it. It's like I just know it. I know it's there, and I can feel it there. And like I mentioned Chip Coffee because I've actually met him, and so you meet someone, you hold their hand and shake their hand or whatever, and it's like, you know, immediately if this is real. Yeah.
It's funny, whenever it comes to Chip Coffee, me and a friend always had this joke because there was an episode we're watching, it just stuck with us when I think they went into a house. I forgot which show it was, and he got the name, came, and he just yelled it out loud. And for some reason, it just stuck with us. Margaret!
I remember that. I've seen that episode.
And that just stuck with us no matter what. Anytime we're somewhere and we think there might be a ghost, we're like, Margaret!
Nice.
Of course, the spirits are probably like, what the hell are you talking about? That's not me.
Yeah, more than likely. It can be comical. It actually, and it's funny because this is kind of where passion parties and the psychic work kind of combined. I would get calls to do parties a lot of times, and I would get to a party and I would look around and I would see ghosts at the party. And it was, especially if I was like in an old house and it was like somebody from, you know, the 1800s, especially a woman. Oh my God, the things that they would say to me and the looks I would get. And it was funny, but that's, in all honesty, that's also how I started with dealing with entities, because I went to a house, we thought it was haunted, they wanted to get rid of it, and I was trying to help them, and there turned out to be an entity in the home as well.
See, I can imagine what you're saying there. You're going to a house, you're selling these products, and of course you've got a woman from Lord knows when, the Victorian era, and she's just thinking to herself, such things are not discussed.
Exactly.
And then just giving you that look of like, how dare you?
Yep. And then you get one, and it's even more fun though when you get in one and they were a woman of ill repute. And they're even more entertaining, let me tell you.
Like, ooh, that's new. I didn't know they made that.
Exactly. Why couldn't they have made that easier for me back when I was alive, you know?
I had one just like that. Mine didn't use batteries. You had to plug it into the wall, and if there was a power surge, ouch.
Exactly.
Maybe it's something you should look back into on your own. Just be like, I can get rid of the spirit, and I can bring you special kind of fun.
I've done that. I actually have done that before. It, like I said, for 2 or 3 years, everything kind of melded together, and I did both. I even did psychic passion parties where I would tie it to the zodiac and things like that for people.
You should just do it again. Be like, April, the psychic sexualist.
You know, there was a point in time where I wanted to be a sex therapist while I was doing it, so you never know when that might come out too. The April, the sex therapist psychic.
You say you got friends that write erotic. I think you're in the perfect spot to write yourself a book and use this information. Whether it's fiction or nonfiction, I think you've got something that could sell.
That's really funny because Spirit has been telling me for about 2 years that I need to start writing.
Well, sometimes, I mean, you don't have to do it. You can always find yourself a ghostwriter. You just write out your notes and they fill in the blanks for you. But you just make sure you come up with the juicy stuff. So if anything ever happens, you're like, well, no, trust me, I came up with that because so-and-so couldn't write that naughty stuff I put in there. Any tips or anything that you would give people, or anything, questions that you always get from people all the time just about dealing with spirits?
In dealing with spirits is just to be firm with them. You know, if you don't want them around, if they're bothering you, you know, a lot of the TV shows and stuff like that make it seem like it's so difficult to get rid of them. It's really not. You tell them to go away and you be firm about it. I told someone earlier today, I'm like, you get that attitude and you tell them you're not allowed here, get out. And you have to mean it, because if there's even an inkling of, yeah, we'll let them stay, then they can hear that, they can feel that, and they'll stay. But just tell them, get out. You're not welcome here.
Just put your foot down. Just be like a real parent who's fed up with it. Put your foot down and just say what you're going to say.
Exactly. I actually told this person, you know, talk to them like your older siblings talk to you.
And if that doesn't work, I guess you can't really put them in a headlock like an older sibling would, though.
Not really.
That's where you come in.
That's where I come in, yeah. That's when I sit and I meditate and I do that.
That's why I jokingly came up with this once at one of the other events. We were like, yeah, I should make my own show and just call it Paranormal Beatdown. Be like, I'm not, okay, they told you to leave, it didn't work, guess what? I'm bringing my spirit hand and I'm going angry mama on you, and I'm just hitting until you leave. And I'm thinking it might work for possessions too. Cause
that's almost what my sister says I do, because every once in a while I'll just, like I said, most of what I do when I'm actually ridding a home of an inhuman entity is in meditation, because it's spiritual. It's not a physical thing you're dealing with. You're dealing with it spiritually, and you feel it on a spiritual level when it's done. But she says some of the faces I make and the arm movements and stuff I make as I'm doing it is really funny.
It just looks like you're about to whoop someone. You're whooping someone's ass spiritually.
Pretty much, yeah.
Like I said, Paranormal Beatdown. Thank you for joining us.